I went digging for obscure 80s movies and I found one that I bet you've never heard of. Let's talk the Ibiza Connection.
Here we go again.
Ibiza, my dream paradise, the promised land with golden sands.
The Ibiza Connection is a Cliff Twemlow film, and if you're not familiar with Cliff Twemlow, I'm not surprised. He's an early 80s filmmaker. He started making movies on videotape and capitalized on the UK direct-to-video market, starting with the only film of his that had any buzz, Grievous Bodily Harm, or GBH as it's also known. He had made movies before, but the reason this particular vanity project had some steam is because it somehow made the UK Video Nasties list, which is confusing because I've seen it and there's really nothing in it that seems like it should make that list. Nonetheless, Cliff Twemlow got to work on other movies, and the Ibiza Connection was the follow-up in 1984. He's like a mix between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Charles Bronson without the mustache, and with worse acting skills, and if you've seen either of those guys, you know that's saying a lot.
Now you listen. I'm still the director. I've gone along with your stupid ideas so far, but this is beyond the joke. Maybe it should be called the Jane Follies. Okay, Sarah, we're leaving.
You don't have to go, Sarah.
Oh, but she does. Oh, listen, Wolf, don't interfere, or I'll break the back. I promise you. Tomorrow, we start shooting, Mr. Young. You'll have more than enough action. I promise you. Learn your lines well, my friend. You learn your lines also, Miss Ferrari.
And your lines?
I'm a professional. You shouldn't associate with amateurs. It crumbs your style. Ciao.
Regardless, the man had heart and he followed his dreams, and thanks to a lot of work by Severin Films, we are now able to see everything that Cliff Twemlow made and put out into the world of film. So the story follows director Wolf Svensson, played by Twemlow, trying to make a movie called Thunderflash, but in the opening scene, he fires his actors because they suck. He's certainly not wrong there. Wolf doesn't seem like a great director either, though, sitting there with a stopwatch hanging around his neck, throwing things around on set willy-nilly and calling every female in his movie woman. Also, his definition of action is pretty suspect.
Lenny, make sure you get this.
Okay, boss. Mark it. Turn over.
That, my friend, is action. Woman.
Anyway, in order to get a new leading man, Cliff needs to, or Wolf rather, needs to phone a director with some mob connections, and he sets him up with one. But with one caveat, the mob director wants his wife to play the lead in Thunderflash. Wolf used to date her, so he's not really happy about this scenario, but that's the movie business, baby. When she starts falling for the leading man, however, the mob director gets unhappy. Now, I'm always really amused when I'm seeing these low-budget 80s movies where they really only have 2 sound effects for punches and 1 for guys getting punched. But the problem with Twemlow's movies, and I've only seen a few so far going through this box set, and they might not all be like this, but they're boring. They are so boring. They're so hard to get through. In this one, there are so many scenes of people just standing around talking about nonsense, talking about nothing. And while the dubbing makes things a little more entertaining because it's done so wretchedly, it's not enough to keep me glued to the screen. Now, there are a few things I liked, So let's spend a minute there. There really aren't many sparks of action, but there's a squib shot at the end of this film that is gnarly as hell. And I have to imagine that this hurt. This shot had to have hurt Twemlow, because look at the size of the holes these things make. More of that and I am in. Now, in this movie within the movie, there's a fight scene, and this fight scene is kind of endearing. Look how the door breaks in such a manufactured way. And then the guy steps in like that scene from It Follows. Also, the car in the film within the film, in Thunder Gun Express as I like to call it, is called Striker, and it has giant rockets on top of it. Some of the music is fine, but not anything that you're going to want to add to your playlist as well, so I got to throw that out there. Now, I have nothing but respect for anybody who can make a movie, and Twemlow was clearly working on minuscule budgets with borrowed sets, but it's really hard to recommend watching any of his films if they all follow the same formula. However, if you're into documentaries about movies, Jake West directed a documentary about Twemlow titled Mancunian Man: The Legendary Life of Cliff Twemlow, and it is definitely worth a watch. Also, if you watch GBH and you take a shot every time somebody says Mancunian, you're going to be laid up the next day, guaranteed. You are going to be hungover.
I'll drink to that.
Have you seen any Cliff Twemlow films? If so, what did you think of them? And what's your favorite vanity project? Let me know down below or email me at force5podcast@gmail.com.